Well, hello and welcome to the weekly Mix and Mash, brought to you by the Midweek Mashed Tattie. I'm your host, Willie Two-Step Daniels. With me today is Michael, aka Johnny Alabama Swiftwood, and Paul, Jamie Paw McDean. How are you doing, boys?
That might be the most random name so far.
That's your country names, boys.
Please tell me yours again, Harvey. Please tell me yours again.
So if I'm a country singer, this is my name, Willie Two-Step Daniels.
Wow.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is Willie Two-Step Daniels with his book hit, How to Make Her Mine. That just sounds like a good
Wally
singer.
Two-Step Daniel with his number one hit, Flog the Dolphin.
Flog the Dolphin. Oh, God. I was just about to bust into a song there, but I'm not already. Anyway, how are you doing, boys? He's good?
All good in the hood?
Yes,
right.
I'm good,
How's
thanks.
yourself?
Not bad. Tired, but good. Oh, work.
Yeah.
Busy bee. I've missed these bloody Americans. I mean, I didn't realise how much I would miss Americans, man, but Jesus Christ. These people are so stupid.
I presume you're talking about tourists.
Oh, aye. Oh, tourists. But that's the stupid, right? But these folk are lawyers, doctors, fucking hedge fund managers with hundreds of millions of dollars in their portfolio and thing, and they come up with stupid shit like, oh, you picked a great place to put your island. Oh, aye. Fuck off. How did you get your island here? What the you mean, how did I get your
we
island
dragged
here?
it. 10 boats and some rope. You'll not believe what you can do.
Oh, how do you guys get the water so blue? What?
Food dye. Lots of food dye.
It's the blood of Smurfs.
Oh, man. Hilarious. Oh, you can tell them anything, I believe. Like, I remember one guy's like, he seen a wee cave when he was snorkeling. He was like, oh, it's a wee cave. And somebody's like, you can swim to the other side of the island, man. It'll take you like
Jesus.
a minute and a half or whatever. He's like, oh, yeah? Really? Yeah, man.
Don't tell me he was never seen again.
No. Like, luckily he was. He came back up and he was like, no, it's just a wee cave. Like, it's a swim through, right? You can get to the other side and that. Like, This fucking guy was like, oh, I nearly made it to the other side, man. I nearly made it. I was right there, but I had to turn back. I'm like, Jesus Christ. You swam about 15 feet. What are you talking about? Like, oh, man.
You love your job, man.
Ah, God. Anyway. Aye. So just before we get into it, just a quick reminder that you can find us on all social media platforms. We also have our YouTube channel up and running where you can find full-length episodes on there. We also have short clips of other recordings and so on and so forth. We also have a web page, the midweekmashtattie.com. We have an about page, an about us page. You can see our pictures. You get to see what we look like if you haven't seen us before. A wee bit about ourselves, obviously. We have a couple of blogs on there that we will be adding to in the future. We have a link to our merch page, and you can also find a link to buy me a coffee. Any donations would be greatly appreciated. What we would love even more is if you share us, please, with anybody who likes sports podcasts. Spread the word. Without further ado, let's mix it up. So just going to kick off the day with football. Have any of you seen that Roman Abramovich has been sanctioned by the UK now?
So he's had quite a week, hasn't he, old Roman?
I have questions.
Yeah. So, I have questions and all. It's very strange. So, obviously, he's been sanctioned. He was trying to sell Chelsea Football Club. If nobody knows, well, he's the owner of the Chelsea Football Club. Obviously, now that's been put on hold. They can't sell any more tickets. They can't sell any more shirts. like they basically can't make profit
make
now.
money.
Aye.
So they can
Because
buy or
obviously it's
sell
given-
players off a new contracts as well.
Yeah, can't offer contracts, can't buy or sell any players because Roman Abramovich has been sanctioned. However, the government said that they're going to try and get a special license so that Chelsea Football Club can be sold, but the money doesn't go to Roman Abramovich.
That's the money would be frozen. He wouldn't have access to
He
it.
wouldn't have access to it. But my thing is, right, I know he's very pro. I was going to say pro Biden there, Jesus Christ. Pro Putin. Sorry. Pro Putin. He says he's not pro Putin, but, you know, I think it's very evident for everybody that he is pro Putin. The evidence is there, sorry. That points that direction. So yeah, it's great that he's been sanctioned because he's a billionaire, right? You know what I mean? And he's given money to the Kremlin. However, when you look at this, a lot of people are going to lose their job. Actually, a few people have lost their jobs already from Chelsea Football Club. Obviously, their merchandise store all the merchandise stores have been closed down. So their staff now have to look for a new job. Even when you go into like stewards and stuff, they're not going to need as many stewards because, well, there's not going to be that many people at the games. So a few of them want to have a job. The concession stands, you know, staff behind the scenes some of them are getting cut because, well, you know, there's no money. They've just got about enough money to put petrol in the bus to get them to games. So when you look at it, yes, it's a good thing in the sense that money's not going to the Kremlin. But then look on the other hand, folk in the UK are losing their jobs because of it. So I would urge the government to act swiftly and decisively and get this over and done with so people can get their jobs back to put food on the table at the end of the day.
Yes.
I mean, they're fair points, mate. They're all fair points. It's a mad state of affairs, isn't it? Like, arguably one of the most successful teams in world football. With a whole heap of things upon them all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking players that are out of contracts. The club can't even begin to try renegotiate contracts to keep them.
No.
So there's 5 first-team players straight out the door. That's not to mention the amount of players who will also go out the door, potentially because of this ongoing conflict. They'll maybe not feel comfortable representing Chelsea.
Yeah.
The community clubs in which they can help kids sort of get into football. They're kind of help with schools round about their areas. I know that's kind of big with a lot of the big English teams where they'll help with the kind of surrounding areas at schools. Obviously, Chelsea, it's a lovely area. It's a bit different, I suppose. But it's a frightening time, man. Do you think there could be a place where they go out of business as a club? Because obviously they are, to quote an impolite person, they are shiting money currently.
Oh, they definitely are.
Like, that's a club that requires a lot of upkeep and a great personal cost of Roman Abramovich. He now can't touch any of his assets within the UK, and rightly so, but it's a scary position. Like,
it's scary to think about that potentially in the coming months, Chelsea Football Club could be dissolved and no longer be. And you know, because there'll be no money there.
The current world club champions and European champions.
No, it's crazy to think of it. And that's mental.
Biggest question, like obviously we're now in this situation, kind of go back in time. So I think the biggest question is that now that we're here, assuming that the government sort out something so that the sale can get pushed through and then they just freeze the money so that Abramovich isn't getting it. should the UK government be duty bound to help the club if it's then going bankrupt because of what's happened? Is their intervention the nail in the coffin, or the, you know what I mean? Is that what sunk the ship?
Yeah. I don't know if I would say the club, let's say, but maybe the staff of the club.
Right, okay, so they should get like remuneration.
Yes.
Should the club go bust and their jobs be gone?
Yes.
I think the government would have
so.
questions to answer if that happens, certainly.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, I mean, there's folk already lost their jobs, so that's what I'm saying. Like,
aye.
Like the club, the club. What the fuck am I trying to say here? The team store, like where they sell all their merchandise. All of them have closed. I don't know how many stores they have, but
I don't understand why or how the government can do that. Like, I get them sanctioning Abramovich, right? Stop the sale, stop him getting money. Okay, fine. But why can Chelsea as a club no function? Just stop the money before it gets to him. Like, let the club still run. You know what I mean? I don't understand why they need to sanction the club.
Again, I don't know either. Because when I seen all this, I was like, it kind of makes sense. Well, sorry, it makes sense that they're sanctioning him. But then they're punishing the club because of the owner.
Yes.
And to me, I think they should be able to keep running, keep business as usual. And as you say, just stop the money going from there to him. It should go into a separate account. The government should say, okay, well, let's make a separate account for Chelsea Football Club or whatever. The money goes into there, and then from there, the people who work get paid from said money. That's the way I would do it. But I just don't know.
I mean, the upside is that this is a club there are no end of potential suitors of people who would like to buy Chelsea.
Yeah,
several businessmen, several consortiums have all sort of poked their head above the parapet to check it out. I don't know if they'll sell for. I mean, the original quoted price that Abramovich would have looked for would have been $3 billion. I think. I think the last couple of weeks kind of affairs have probably shaved at least half of that away. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I don't think he's getting $3 billion anymore.
No, I don't think so.
It's wild. Like, it is wild. I mean, the team still seem to be doing fine since that news. They've won twice on the spin. They'll at least keep them in with.
Oh, God. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. So if this continues to the end of the season, it'd be interesting to see if players who are there will be able to terminate their contracts and go elsewhere.
I've got another question. Should UEFA and or FIFA be stepping in and speaking to the government, trying to help ease this situation, or the FA possibly?
It does seem very murky that government's involved in a team in this sort of way. It doesn't seem.
It does.
Is there a better way to do it? I mean, I'm so far below the pay grade to answer that question, unfortunately, as to what you would do.
I mean, but just stop the money going to Roman Abramovich.
That seems like the easy answer.
That's the easiest way. It's like, okay, all his accounts are frozen, so you just take the money that's supposed to go there, reroute it into a different account, and then that's the account that pays everybody.
It makes me wonder
to me.
if there's an ulterior motive where it's not just a case of they want to sanction him in terms of they don't want him to get access to the money. They want to actually hurt the value of the club so that when he does eventually get his money, once things die down and the sanctions removed, the sale price is lower. So he makes less money off it.
It could be that as well, to be honest. That would make sense though, because that's less money going back to the Kremlin. At the end of the day. I
think this is all of this is like a big start kind of warning to clubs that let in this kind of style of sort of regime where it's a foreign country trying to sports wash it effectively. Like all these big Russian billionaires going out in there is, oh god, we've got a Russian running us. When really, no luck at it, no luck will that go you. I mean, what about Newcastle in the future?
I was just going to say, should Newcastle fans will be worrying?
Exactly. I mean, this could be them. This could be them one day. Like, I mean, I saw news of them executing some
81, I believe.
81 people they executed publicly. So I mean,
they still execute folk, don't they?
Aye, so I mean, it's the risk of you let these people in, and that's their clear objective is sports washing, which is raising their country's profile through funding a professional team in order to build their reputation with it. So it raises a question about a lot of this that's kind of came into football in the past kind of 20 years, like this kind of type of owner where they come in, they throw massive amounts of money, they turn an also ran team into giants. Like, what happens there? Like, is it right? Is it wrong? Like,
but no, like, I mean, there's a plethora of different answers we could give. We could sit and talk
more questions than answers.
It's like after every answer you give, there's a question after that. It could be another. You know what I mean? Maybe they should go. No, I don't know.
Exactly.
Scratch that before I start doing any things. So I'm going to stick with football, but it's kind of on the same topic here. So what I ask is, I'll explain to you what happened and then ask. I'm going to ask the questions. Is this fair?
Okay.
What's happened to this fella? Okay. So the Ukrainian Football Association has punished the most capped player, Anatoly Timoshuk. Right?
Yeah.
So Anatoly Timoshuk is a assistant manager at Zenit St. Petersburg, obviously, in Russia. And he has not spoken out against Russia or the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So the Ukrainian Football Association have severely punished him. So he's set to lose his legendary status. He's been stripped. He will be stripped of all the titles he won in Ukraine at domestic level and such. He'll be stripped of. They're looking to delete all his caps, he's never played for them. And all honorary titles and state awards will be taken away from him.
That's fucked up.
There we go.
Like, I get that it's meant, like, in a time like this, you want all your people to come together, and if anybody's a public figure, you want them to speak out against Russia and sort of make a plea to the people of Ukraine to sort of band together and fight, yada, yada, yada. Totally with all that. However, if the man is living and working in Russia, like, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that if he says something wrong, he goes bye-bye.
Exactly. Yeah. I get that they're disappointed with him. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you're living in a country like that, you can't really say much because you'll either be locked up or you'll be 6 foot under.
If it was a case of he wasn't fearing for his life and he was purely trying to protect his job, then denounce him. I mean, I still don't think you go to the lengths that you've just described there. But drag him out in public, fair enough. But based on my assumption that he's currently living in Russia to carry out that job, then I've got to assume he's in fear for his life if he was to speak out.
I would assume he's in fear for his life. The other thing I don't like about it, though, is him still being in Russia after all that. Like, okay, if you don't want to go back into Ukraine because obviously all the fighting and stuff, like, go to a different country.
Yep.
Like, you got to stay in that. Like, that doesn't sit well with me. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
he must have his reasons, I guess. I don't know, Paul. What do you think about it?
It's sad. He's a Ukrainian football legend. He's played over 100 times for his national team, I'm sure, isn't he? Too much.
144 times, I believe. He's the most capped
Jesus,
player.
I mean, so he literally is the most capped international footballer. Extensive career with Shakhtar Donetsk. I mean, he played with Zenit for a couple of spells. It's a very popular player, and in Germany, Christ, he went like he's one of the best kind of Ukrainian footballers next to the likes of Andriy Shevchenko. Like, you'd probably put him up there, so you would. Arguably just as a bit successful, like Champions League, honours, league titles, so on and so forth. It's sad above all else. It's sad. I don't think that's the right step. I think that's behaviour that you would expect from Russia. Denouncing your own. Denouncing your own because they'll know fall in line with what you're saying. Like, it seems very, very obviously tensions are high. No, I don't think everybody's thinking with their correct sort of mind, as it were. And I think in time, 20 years from now, folk are going to regret having taken that action against him. Like you're saying, Michael, you can't imagine what he's maybe having to dodge on a daily basis where he lives in St. Petersburg, where he lives. Which I mean, I've not been to Russia, but I would assume, given all the sort of memorial stuff in St. Petersburg, that it is about as Russia gets, as far as a place in Russia. Like, it's pretty kind of pro. They're pretty kind of pro Russia in that area of Russia, to say Russia alone.
Yeah.
So it's sad, really. I think it's my overwhelming sort of feeling towards that.
Yep.
I mean, just to put some, like, to give anybody who's listening an idea, there's been over, I think it's nearing 3,000 people, I believe, who have been locked up by police just for going out in the street and holding a placard saying no to war, like, stop the invasion. And they're just grabbed up into the back of the paddy wagon, off to jail. Who knows when they're going to be out? Do you know what I mean? And that's them just standing up with a placard, not saying anything. Now, you have a public figure speaking out, that's when things get really, really grim. It's crazy. I mean, this is a place that I don't want to get on too much, but you know the Z that the Russians have on their vehicles and stuff, right? To identify them against Ukraine vehicles, military vehicles. So that's now become a symbol in Russia for, like, pro-war. And
this is feeling Nazi like.
So there's, I mean, the other day in St. Petersburg, coincidentally, there was a primary school that got, like, I think it was roughly 140 children and teachers. They put a drone up and they all lined up in a Z, in a Z.
That's kind of fucked up.
So, like, you see that in a primary school, you should, like, come on. Do you know what I mean? The other day, a gymnastics, or was it? I want to say gymnastics, but I could be wrong. It could be diving, but anyway.
I think it was a gymnast, mate. Aye,
it was a gymnast, Russian gymnast, standing on the bloody podium, and taped a Z on his shirt, standing on the podium next to a bloody Ukrainian. No, it was some like I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly what the games were, but it was it wasn't the Paralympics, but it was like, you know, one of the big tournaments that they do. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. Like, it's mental. Anyway, went a bit deep in there.
Back to sports.
Back to the sports. We'll move on and we'll talk about the rugby.
Can we go back to politics? Okay.
We can talk about politics of rugby if though. Do you want to do that? Oh, good. Hi. So, I don't really
Scotland scored 5 tries.
Well,
Yay.
aye. We'll not talk about them now. France beat Wales 13-9. That was a very tough game, man. I thought that France would have won more comfortably than they did, if I'm being honest. They made it tough. Wales made it tough.
Hard to play.
They are.
Especially at home.
But they ultimately lost, so Wales, no chance of winning the Six Nations. The only 2 teams that it can win it now are Ireland and France.
Yep.
Ireland just beat England today, 32-15.
Yep.
Yesterday. Yesterday.
I'm agreeing with me, but also, yep.
Aye. 32-15. It was 15-15 at one point, and then in the second half, Ireland just ran away with it. They looked really, really good again. So who knows what we'll see next week when when we play them. Oh god, that should be fun.
We're gonna thump them.
Well, I'm hoping. I'm hoping we win and then France beat England, and then we can finish in at least 3rd place. We could finish in 2nd if we get like 2 bonus tries, 2 bonus points. But that's very hard to do. Anyway, so let's go a bit more in depth about the Scotland and Italy game. Deary me, we scored 5 tries. That's good. But it was against Italy. The bad thing is, Italy scored 3 tries against us.
Yep.
And, oh, gosh. I don't know, man. Just looks so schoolboy, some of the stuff. Oh, man, it's so frustrating.
The first try that Italy scored was so simple. Like, they came away for a scrum, put the ball out wide, they ran it in. Like, there was nothing special about it. Scotland just...
Nothing. Yeah.
The defence was just shit.
Aye. Schoolboy. Absolute schoolboy. I don't know if they were... maybe they were complacent because, get into the game, you're like, playing Italy.
Aye. It seemed a bit like that, aye.
They scored a try, it's alright, we'll score 2. Like, kind of thing, you know what I mean?
It seemed like they were playing a friendly or a training...
Aye.
In some kind of training scenario, like they didn't seem to be defending as if it meant anything.
Aye, no, but that's still worrying though. To me, as a professional, you should be going into that. It doesn't matter if you know that you're going to win.
Yep.
You should then go out there and say, right, I know we're going to win. Let's see how well we can play. Let's see how many we can score.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Let's keep a clean sheet. Which, it's hard to do in rugby, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's try and limit them to a certain amount of points, you know what I mean? Like, but, aye. I don't know. And see, to be honest, Paul, I remember a couple of weeks when we were talking and you were like, guy, get rid of him and stuff. And I was like, maybe it's not the right thing to do, etc., etc. I know we did talk about it last week? No, the week.
2 weeks
ago.
2 weeks ago, where we said that we don't really think he will be in charge, but after that, I definitely don't think he's got to be in charge. I think the SRU will go down a different route.
You're talking about Gregor Townsend?
Townsend. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you jumped for Italy's place in the tournament to Townsend. It was slightly confusing.
Aye. Sorry. What I meant was, I know we were talking a couple of weeks ago about Gregor Townsend, and I was like, maybe that's not the right thing to do, like get rid of him and stuff.
Aye.
Aye, my mind is kind of changing from that now. Like, I think we need to go a different route.
I mean, the score and the performance and the tries conceded is akin to winning a close boxing match against a one-armed man. I mean, yep, you've won, but it doesn't really feel very good, does it?
No.
It doesn't really feel very good.
No.
I think if you've got serious aspirations of being a force in the international scene in rugby, I think close wins against Italy, it's not really filling with much confidence.
Cut it, man.
Yep.
Considering the absolute pastings they have took off everybody else up until this point.
Yep. I mean, Italy are what? Minus 122? That's a points differential. Like, it's insane, man.
I mean, you say yes, bonus point, but bonus point dresses it up too well for me. It makes it look much better.
It up a bit much, right? Aye. Hopefully we can, next week, we can finish on a high. Go out there, play well against Ireland, beat Ireland, at least finish in third place. Hopefully France beat England. But saying that, Ireland know that they need to beat Scotland to have any chance of winning the Six Nations.
They're going to be hunting for a bonus point.
Exactly.
I'm going to make a prediction here, by the way. We are going to be eaten alive by Ireland. We are going to die in the Celtic fires, man. They are going to run through us. Calling it now. At least by 15, 20 points, we are going to get thrashed.
I think, based on what I've witnessed with Scotland against Italy, I think that if Scotland can score a try against Ireland, it will be a sort of mini victory. The chances is beating Ireland is very slim at this point. I don't think that should. I mean, obviously that should be the kind of overarching goal, but I think the biggest thing going into that game is let's not let them run over us. Wait, no answer to them. You know what I mean? Let's put up a
damage limitation.
Yeah,
that should be a goal. Sad to say that's like, that's our goal. You know what I mean? Damage limitation instead of win.
Make it a dogfight. Shoot for scoring, try in the first half, put some pressure on them, and then it's anybody's game in the second half. But if you let them put 20, 30 points in the first half, when they answer, then what hope are you got?
Oh, aye. I mean, if they play in it like they did against Italy, we're in danger of getting 50 points shoved up our behind. Do you know what I mean? Like, craziness.
It's a mentality issue again, though. Turn up for England. Well done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's this mentality. Like, I just don't understand it. But not a psychologist, so obviously France against England. I hope England get beat. Just so that we can maybe finish in third place, finish above them. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that France will beat them. I think France will win with a perfect record here in the Six Nations.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
That'd be my prediction. But England can be tricky buggers too, so you never know.
Also true, mate.
So we all do we all think that France will win?
The
Six Nations, yeah.
Based on England's performance this weekend, France is probably going to beat England and then take the Grand Slam. Would be my prediction.
Grand Slam, yes.
I would even bag them as favourites for the World Cup, mate. I really would.
Well, right.
I'd favour them to make the final. Depending on
anything can happen in the final.
The draw.
Course, aye.
Spain have qualified for their first World Cup since 1999, by the way. Cool.
There you go. Spain Rugby World
Good
Cup.
Rugby.
Tiki-taka rugby. Here we go.
Right.
Bunch of tiny wee guys throwing
triangles.
Tiny wee men throwing short passes everywhere.
For some reason I feel like Spain should be the Fiji of Europe.
Just
should
playing
have the flair.
The
that
flair.
Fiji have got. Aye.
Fiesta time.
Hunnels of tiny wee passes.
Side
Bang
step.
on the opposition.
Cha-cha-cha.
Backwards now. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Jump for the corner. Cha-cha-cha.
Try time. Yeah. Oh, God.
We say that with love.
Man. Oh, man. Oh, good. So, on that note, we'll move on to Paul's quack of the week.
Quack.
Quack, quack, quack.
Well, this was easy this week, lads. Obviously, Netflix released their new series of F1 Drive to Survive, and at the risk of spoiling it, I would like to put forward the pairing of Mazepin and Son. Both Mazepins enter into this week. I know Nikita Mazepin's he's not really been a favourite on here, whereas due to his driving abilities, lack thereof, attitude in public. But when you look behind the scenes and see what's being filmed, he really doesn't come off any better.
Aye.
If worse, in fact, self-centred would be the first word. And he's a trust fund child given an expensive car. He doesn't have the skills or the talent to be in the position he's in, quite clearly. And his attitude towards his team at Haas was, I really wasn't impressed with the boy. Continuously shouting on his radio, questioning his radio, over the radio, accusing his engineers of favouring Mick Schumacher simply because he didn't have the skills to perform. At the risk of spoilers, by the way, I will say spoilers now to anybody listening, so fast forward 20 or 30 seconds. His dad even threatened to pull funding mid-season to Haas, citing you're treating my son poorly, switch the cars, let him drive Mick's car and let's see who's the better driver, because you're not giving him the help you're giving Mick Schumacher. Threatening funding, completely removing funding mid-season to Haas. Obviously now, as we see with the current events, this now kind of rings even more significantly. With Haas removing Nikita Mazepin from the driving seat, and obviously Dimitri Mazepin's sponsorship of the team is now gone. They're no longer Haas or Alkali. Good riddance to the cunts, I'm not going to lie.
Aye.
Genuinely not going to miss them in F1. They shouldn't have been in it, and he shouldn't have been in that position in the beginning. There are far more deserving drivers.
Yeah, I agree with you there. There's more deserving drivers than bloody Nikita Mazepin. It was evident to see that he's not a good driver. Like, doesn't matter what bloody car he was at. You could have put him in the Red Bull, the Mercedes, and you would still fucking crash it nearly every single race.
F1 drivers have got to have that kind of confidence, Harvey. Like, they've got to have that belief that they are the best at what they're doing and back themselves. But
no. I'm not saying
just the attitude of him. Like, I agree with you. He wouldn't. He would in a good car. He would still be the drizzling shits.
Aye, he wouldn't be good. Yeah. I know that you're saying there that you've got to be like that. I understand that. I know that, but what I was saying is evident for everybody else to see that he's not a good driver. You know what I mean? So he should never have been in that seat. It was just because of the money. That's why he was there, and it's unfair because there's so many other good drivers out there that deserve a place, at least a shot, a try. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't really too blown away, but who Haas chose to replace Mazepin. I thought there was some other folk out there that could have came in and had a try, you know.
Is it just down to the time frame though, Harvey, that they've no they can't possibly get anybody else in of a higher standing?
It could be. It could be
that's
that.
Why they've went back to
I think
Kevin Magnussen.
Very worth noting Haas's position in Formula One and their need for sponsorship money. Their owner,
Gene Haas.
American.
Gene Haas.
Aye. He's obviously putting money in, but if you've ever watched Drive to Survive, whether it's this season or previous, you'll see that he's very forward about telling Gunther that, like, this is what I'm giving you, but the team needs this. You have to go and get that off of sponsors, because it's on you to bring in the sponsors and to make sure that the team's got the full budget it needs. That's a big part of why Mazepin was there, and also why Mick Schumacher's there.
Aye, in terms it's why Mick Schumacher's, but there's at least evidence of talent with Mick Schumacher.
Aye, yeah.
And there's evidence of character as well, by the way, above all else.
I bring this up just to say that I think that obviously the timing, at this point, removing Mazepin, the timing's no great. You're coming into the new season. Any driver worth their salt is going to be tied up in a contract already.
Yep.
So it really lowers their pool of potential drivers to sign. They're pretty much having to look out with Formula One for a start. You know what I mean? Everybody there's already, they're settled. They're in pre-season. And then the other thing is that they don't have a massive budget. They can't go and offer 30, 40, 50 mil, whatever the number is.
No.
Yeah. So that, they're very limited in who they can chase.
The main thing is they're getting to go ahead for the next season. They've got the funding.
Point.
They've got the funding to keep going. Formula One needs teams like this. Like you need... For all that I'm laughing and all that, you need these wee teams that are ducking and diving in there, like, for younger drivers to develop, so on and so forth. And obviously, spirit of the sport, when you see an underdog doing well, it's awesome, man.
You say that, right? However, Haas, I don't know if you've been watching any of the pre-season and stuff, Paul.
I've kind of kept my eye on a wee bit, on the kind of pre-season testing.
Haas has been performing pretty well.
Better than expected, certainly,
Oh, yes.
Yep. Done all due diligence between seasons.
I mean...
Or indeed during last season.
In the top 10 of fastest laps at Bahrain there, only 2 teams have 2 drivers in the top 10. That's Red Bull and Haas.
Well, I mean, I remember like a few years ago, obviously it's the infamous Drive to Survive fucking wankers clip for Gunther Steiner, and that's, you know the one I'm talking about. We should have looked like rock stars, now we look like fucking wankers. And it's down to pit lane problems that have stopped there being 2 Haas within the top 10 in that opening race of the season. That'd be 3 years ago or something like that. And that was with Grosjean and Magnussen.
The 2019 season.
2019 season, I think it would be, wouldn't it? Like
a
2018 season, possibly. I think it was 2018, actually, lads. But so there's, I mean, they've got. I think it was 2018 because Force India were still a team when they were. If I remember correctly, like they hadn't changed from Force India to Racing Point yet. If I remember correctly,
I don't know going into 20. Does it know?
Racing Point. I think they were still Racing Point. They just changed to Aston Martin this season, didn't they?
Force India I'm talking about. They changed over.
But I'm sure it was the 18-19 season. I know we're getting dragged down in the. I think I remember this. We're way into the weeds here.
Oh god.
So that was my pick for the week, lads.
right, okay.
Jeez, I forgot that we were on Quack of the Week.
I know, we went into
we're just talking Formula One.
So, I mean, his Quack of the Week has led us into Formula One, so I just kept it a rolling, you know what I mean?
Started from the quack and now we're here.
Started from the quack, now we're here. No, the whole anyway. So So before I get the fastest laps was obviously Max Verstappen. Then it was Mick Schumacher. He's the second fastest throughout this. Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Bottas, Tsunoda, Perez, Norris, and then Kevin Magnussen. That's the fastest laps. I don't really know what's going on with Hamilton's car right now. I don't know. But
He's been a wee bit negative in his interviews.
Oh, he's been very negative, yes. He...
A lot of speculation as to whether or not he's being honest.
He's
or not.
up for... Aye. So he did say in one... Paul, I don't know if you've seen, but he said... when asked about the car and stuff... Lewis Hamilton turned around and said, "At the moment, I don't think we will be competing for wins." Like,
I don't know. I think there's a bit of gamesmanship to this, possibly.
I think so too, because George Russell came out and was saying he wasn't being negative as such, but he was like he was bigging up Ferrari, and saying that they look like they're the strongest, this and that. And then that in turn had Carlos Sainz come out and say, "Oh, this is typical Mercedes, typical George, hype up the others, then come out to the first race and blow the competition away." Which I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're
blowing smoke.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. They're blowing smoke. AlphaTauri though, geez, did you see from this one of the standing starts? They did a practice start and AlphaTauri took off and left the Red Bull and everybody else, and I was just like, whoa. They look quick.
Interesting to see.
So, as we said on numerous occasions on here, that this season could turn out to be very, very interesting.
Yep.
With all these different changes. Very, very interesting. Once we see the first race, even then, we'll not really know as such, you know what I mean?
It's not going to give you a totally accurate sort of idea. You just never know what could come.
We'll definitely get to see which car's quickest and which one handles better, and you know.
The thing that's always worth remembering is that the big teams, right? So your Red Bull, your Mercedes, your Ferrari, probably McLaren. These teams, they can make jumps so much more so than the smaller teams because they've got the resources and the budgets that they can develop parts that give these upgrades, you know what I mean? So if we come into the first couple of races and it's looking super competitive, and you know, and Hamilton and Russell are being truthful, and Mercedes are running fourth and fifth or whatever, that doesn't mean that 3-4 races down the line they bring in an upgrade and all of a sudden they're the team to beat. And the same could happen with one of the other big teams.
So the big teams, they have this advantage where they can make adjustments far better than the smaller teams. They have the resources, they have the manpower, they have the minds behind, you know, because obviously they can pay the best of the best, you know. The first race will kind of give us an idea of what's going on, but it will not be the full picture. But yeah, I can't wait.
I cannot wait either, mate. Brilliant. It's going to be very exciting.
Just before we go into Mick's monologue, I'd just like to say we started a F1 fantasy league. So if anybody wants to join it, you go onto the F1 website and there's a link there for it. It's the league name is Mashed Tattie. The code is BFAFE35CC1. So if you want to join,
so it's fantasy.formula1.com. Look, I think you can there's a link on the Formula 1 website, the main site.
Website, yeah.
But if you either Google Formula One Fantasy or go to fantasy.formula1.com, you'll get it.
There's maybe a plan to put this in the episode description, lads.
Absolutely, aye, Harvey. If you want to pass me along the code,
Let's
I will put it in the episode description.
Right. We'll move on to mixed monologue, and this will be the end of the episode. I'm gonna so Michael, I'm gonna screen share this. I don't want you to read it, okay?
Roger.
So this guy had a bot watch or read, the scripts of Batman, all the Batmans, like about 100 something times, right. And then this is what the bots came up with as a script.
Okay, so this
1 page.
This is a script created by a bot for a Batman
movie.
Okay. Yeah. Interior: traditional Batcave. Batman stands next to his Batmobile and uses his Bat computer. He's sometimes Bruce Wayne, sometimes Batman, all times orphan. Batman: this is now a safe city. I have punched a penguin into prison. Alfred, Batman's loyal battler, carries a tray of goth ham. Alfred: eat a dinner. Mattress Wayne. An explosion explodes. The Joker and Two-Face enter the cave. Joker is a clown but insane. Two-Face is a man but attorney. Batman: no, it is Two-Face and One-Face. They hate me for being a bat. Batman throws Alfred at Two-Face. Two-Face flips Alfred like a coin. Alfred lands heads up, which means Two-Face goes home. Batman: it is just you and I, the Joker. Bat versus clown, moral enemies. The Joker: I am such a freak. Society is bad. You drink water. I drink anarchy. Batman: I drink bats, just like a bat would. Batman looks around for his parents, but they are still dead.
God almighty. I feel dizzy.
This makes him have anger. He fires a bat rocket. The Joker deflects it with his sixth sense of humour. A clownly power. The Joker: I have never followed a rule. That is my rule. Do you follow? I don't.
No, I don't.
Batman: Alfred, give birth to Robin.
What?
Alfred begins the process since it is his job. The Joker now has a present in his hand. He juggles it over to the Batman. The Joker: happy Bat Day, Buffman. Batman opens the present since he's a good guy. It contains a coupon for new parents, but it's expired. This is a Joker joke.
It definitely is a Joker joke.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Oh my, I nearly passed it like at least 4 times.
Batman looks around for his parents, but they are still dead.
Oh god.
Oh, Two-Face flipping Alfred like he's a coin. He lands in his head, so he goes in. Oh, well, that's me. Sorry, Joker, you have to date yourself. Alfred landed head first. Sorry, mate. I love it when bots do things like that. They make the bots
oh god.
do things like this. It's hilarious, man.
Aye. I've got another one for an obituary, but I don't think.
Jesus.
Batman get dark enough.
That was me for another time. Oh, so that was mixed monologue. Thank you for that, Michael.
My pleasure.
That also tied in with the best of social media. You know what I mean? Right. That's all we have time for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode. Hope you've enjoyed Mike's monologue. Oh, good. Just a reminder, hit us up on the social medias. If you have any suggestions or questions, let us know. We love the feedback. Thank you all very much for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Bye-bye the new.
Tattie, bye, driver.
Bye.
Batman exits cave.
Bye, Batman.
You have now reached your destination.